There's a very specific sound that I think defines a modern household. Maybe around 8:00 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this.
It's not the dishwasher, it's not the TV, it's that sound of a parent standing at the bottom of the stairs yelling up at a closed door, turn that thing off and do something productive.
I think I've been on the receiving end of that yell a few times in my life.
Yeah,
And let's be honest, I've probably given that yell too.
we all have, and if you walk into any high school, the teachers are fighting that exact same battle. We just have this cultural default that gaming is the enemy, it's the ultimate distraction.
Right, it's the time sink, the anti-productivity machine.
But I want you to just pause on that because the source material we're diving into today, it challenges that whole premise. It asks a pretty radical question. What if we've been looking at the screen completely upside down? What if that distraction isn't a waste of time, but actually a sophisticated piece of infrastructure for a career? And not just for the kids playing, I mean, for the entire school system.
Yeah, it's a provocative pivot. Usually when we talk about, defending video games, we hear about hand-eye coordination or reflexes.
Yeah, the classic arguments, gamers make good surgeons.
That whole thing. Right, the stuff we've heard for 20 years. But this is different. This source argues that gaming isn't just a hobby to be, managed. It's an industrial engine. We're looking at a document called the Personal Brand Toolkit of a figure known as Dennis, or Mr. Long Island.
Mr. Long Island, I have to say, that sounds like a reality TV star.
It really does.
Like he should be flipping tables in the Hamptons or something.
Totally. But reading through these documents, it's the opposite of drama. It's a blueprint for something called the Long Island Gaming League, or LIGL. And honestly, this toolkit, it reads less like a resume and more like a technical manifesto for what he calls education first esports.
And that phrase, education first, that seems to be the real anchor here. Because when I hear esports, I'm thinking stadiums, lasers, kids winning millions of dollars playing League of Legends. Is that what this is?
No, and that's the crucial difference. We are not looking at a guide on how to become a pro gamer. The source is very clear. This is not about the 0.01% of players who go pro.
Okay.
This is an analysis of how one man is using, and these are his terms, systems, architecture, and curriculum licensing, to turn the passion for gaming into jobs for the other 99.9%. It's about the mechanics behind the screen.
That's what hooked me. I love the concept of school-safe gaming, but I didn't realize how much actual engineering went into it until I started reading this. It talks about frameworks and compliance more than high scores.
And that's a huge shift in thinking. I mean, look at education now. You usually see programs. A teacher starts a club, maybe they get a grant, buy a few consoles.
Yeah.
But this material argues that schools need to move from programs to systems. It's about building an infrastructure that supports learning, not just, hosting a tournament on a Friday to keep kids quiet.
So let's meet the architect. Who is this Dennis guy? Because his profile, it paints a picture of someone wearing a lot of hats that really shouldn't fit on the same head.
He's a really unique case study in skill stacking. So he's the founder and executive director of the Long Island Gaming League. But if you look at his bio, he highlights this triple threat section.
Break that down for us. What are the three threats?
Okay, so first, he's an author. He wrote a book, The Esports Millionaire Mindset. Second, he's a techie, a mobile app developer, and a systems architect. And third, and this is the curveball, he's an educator. He designs licensed curriculum.
Wait, okay, hold on. That is a weird mix. Usually the techie is the one who builds the app but hates explaining it to people.
Yes.
And the educator is the one who knows the classroom but might struggle to set up a server.
Exactly. And the author's usually just talking theory from the sidelines. But he's doing all three at once.
But why does that matter? Can't a school just hire 3 different people?
You'd think so, but that disconnect is where these things usually fall apart in schools. You have educators who just don't get the gaming culture.
Right.
Where you have gamers who come in, but they don't understand school compliance, data privacy, all the bureaucracy.
So the gamers get crushed by the red tape, and the teachers just don't have the credibility with the kids.
Precisely. Dennis seems to exist right in that friction point. He speaks gamer, he speaks code, and maybe most importantly, he speaks superintendent.
Which brings us to this phrase that kept popping up, superintendent safe. And I have to be honest, when I read superintendent safe esports, I laughed out loud. It just sounds so uncool.
It does.
It's like punk rock,
Yeah.
but approved by your grandma.
For sure, it isn't edgy. But think about it from a business perspective. If you're trying to sell a disruptive new idea into a school district, edgy is a liability. Edgy gets you sued.
Right.
So when he uses that term superintendent-safe model, he's speaking directly to the anxieties of the people who sign the checks.
So what are they actually afraid of? It's more than just kids wasting time, isn't it?
Oh, it's way deeper. A superintendent is worried about data privacy. Are we violating federal law by sharing student data with game companies? They're worried about toxicity. Is the school liable for bullying and a game chat on our servers?
Okay, so while the kids are worried about their kill-death ratio, the administration is worried about a lawsuit.
Exactly. And Dennis is basically saying, I've built a system that handles the lawsuit stuff so the kids can handle the game stuff.
Hmm.
There's a quote in here that really sums it up. He says, esports should not be about who wins tournaments. It should be about who leaves school prepared for life.
That is a huge shift in focus, because if I'm a student, I 100% care about who wins the tournament. That's the whole point, right? To win.
For the student, yes. But for the school, the tournament is just the hook. It's the bait. He has another quote. Gaming is already in our schools. My work is about making sure it produces graduates, not just gamers.
Graduates, not just gamers. I like that. It implies the gaming is happening anyway. The kids are going home and playing until 2 a.m., so you might as well harness that energy.
And that's the whole why behind his league. The goal isn't just competition, it's workforce development. It's taking a kid obsessed with, say, Overwatch, and showing them that the skills they're using, strategy, communication, tech, literacy, are actually transferable.
But isn't that a bit of a stretch? I mean, how does shooting aliens translate to an office job? Is that just marketing fluff?
It can sound like it, but look at the infrastructure. It's not about the shooting. It's about clear communication under pressure. It's about analyzing match data to improve. It's about setting up the hardware. But to make that connection real, you can't just let them play and hope for the best. You need a system.
Which brings us to the how, because it's easy to say career readiness on a brochure. Actually doing that in a school is a nightmare.
This is where the systems architect, part of his identity, really takes over. He makes this very sharp observation in the toolkit. He says schools don't need more programs.
Wait, let me play devil's advocate. Why are programs bad? If I'm a principal, don't I want an esports program?
You think you do. But what usually happens with a program, it's driven by one person. Maybe the cool history teacher, Mr. Smith, runs the gaming club. It's great. But then what happens when Mr. Smith leaves?
The club dies. The consoles get locked in a closet and collect dust. I've seen that happen a dozen times.
Exactly. That's a program. It's fragile. It relies on a person. Dennis argues that schools need systems that last after the vendor leaves.
So he's selling sustainability. He's selling a machine that keeps running no matter who's driving.
He's selling infrastructure.
Yeah.
And he's not hiding it. While other companies are selling the hype, the big lights, the jerseys, Dennis is focused on the unsexy stuff: documentation, compliance reporting, curriculum licensing.
It's so funny because in marketing, you usually hide the bureaucracy. You don't put great paperwork on the poster, but he's putting it front and center.
And for a school district, that's music to their ears. But it's not just paper. He's actually building the tech. The source says he builds platform-agnostic, proprietary data systems.
Okay, let's unpack that. Platform agnostic. What does that mean for a parent or a teacher listening?
It means the system doesn't care what game you're playing. He isn't tied to Nintendo or Xbox. Today it's Fortnite. Tomorrow it's Valorant. 5 years from now, it's something we haven't heard of. If your whole system is built around one game, you're obsolete in 2 years.
Right, you don't build a curriculum around Minecraft just to have everyone move to Roblox.
Exactly. His systems, student portfolios, staff management tools, training, they work no matter what's on the screen.
Yeah.
It tracks the human growth, not the digital score.
You said student portfolios. That caught my eye. Are we talking about a portfolio of high scores? Like, look, I got a pentakill. I don't think Yale cares about that.
No, and that's the key. Colleges don't care about your kill streak. The systems he builds track measurable outcomes. Did the student organize the tournament? That's logistics. Did they stream the match? Broadcast tech. Did they manage the team's Discord? That's community management.
Ah, so the system is capturing the work around the game, not just the game itself.
Correct. It turns esports from a casual club into a data-driven educational tool. And that is how you get as a superintendent to sign a check. You show them data. You show them a portfolio that can get a kid a scholarship, not for playing, but for managing.
That makes so much sense. Okay, let's pivot a little. We've talked about the educator and the architect. Let's talk about the author. He wrote a book, The Esports Millionaire Mindset.
The third pillar, yeah.
I have to push back on this title. The Esports Millionaire Mindset. It sounds a little bit like a get-rich-quick YouTube ad, you know? It feels a bit clickbaity.
The title is definitely catchy, a little aggressive, maybe. But if you look at the description in the toolkit, the content is very grounded. It's a practical field guide. And what's really interesting is the target audience. It's for entrepreneurs with limited startup capital.
That's a key distinction because the story we always hear is that you need millions to start an esports business, a stadium, servers, player salary.
And he's saying, no, that's the pro league model. He's teaching the grassroots model. He's saying, here is how you bootstrap it. The book is about business planning and sponsorship for local tournaments.
So he's basically teaching other people how to become him. It connects right back to his Mr. Long Island persona. He's not trying to gatekeep the industry. He's giving other people a roadmap to compete with him.
There's a quote here I circled. You don't need money to enter esports. You need structure, knowledge, and the right roadmap.
It suggests the barrier to entry isn't financial, it's intellectual. It's about understanding the system.
And think about the ecosystem he's building. If he trains more people to run local leagues using his book, and then those leagues need software.
They buy his superintendent-safe software system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a flywheel. The educator teaches the method, the author spreads the message, and the architect sells the tools.
That is smart. It's not just a collection of jobs. It's a vertically integrated business model. He's creating his own market.
He really is. And it's all centered on that one vision. His headline, Transforming Gaming Passion into Academic and Career Pathways.
Passion into pathways. It's catchy. But the source also mentions it goes beyond schools. They talk about community activations, digital media.
Yeah, it creates this whole ecosystem. Maybe a kid doesn't go to college. Maybe they start a local business running tournaments. Maybe they get into broadcasting. Or maybe they become a systems architect themselves.
It really hits home when you think about who's listening right now. Whether you're a parent fighting that screen time battle or a business owner looking for young talent. The takeaway here is about leverage. Kids have this boundless energy for gaming. I mean, they will grind for hours to unlock a digital cosmetic.
The focus is incredible if you look past the screen and see the behavior.
Right. And usually we just try to suppress it. We say, stop that. But Dennis is saying, leverage it. Don't fight the current. Build a hydroelectric dam.
It's about meeting students where they are. If they're in front of a screen, don't pull them away. Guide what's happening on that screen towards something productive.
It's the realization that you use the game to get them to the college degree or the job. The game is the vehicle, not the destination.
Precisely. And that's why so much of his work is professional development for the adults. He's training the teachers how to drive that vehicle. Because if the adults don't understand it, they just put the parking brake on and complain.
You know, what stands out to me is how he's professionalized his own brand around this. Education First Esports Architect. That is such a specific title.
It creates a category of one. He isn't competing with game developers like Activision. He's not competing with textbook companies. He's carved out this niche where tech, gaming, and educational bureaucracy all intersect. He's the translator.
And his framework notes, he's been doing this since 2019. In the world of esports, that's a long time.
It is. 2019 is a practically ancient history. It shows this isn't a flash in the pan. We're moving past the Wild West phase of esports into the civilization phase. He's building the roads of the schools.
And he's doing it by focusing on the stuff most people find boring. I keep coming back to that. His toolkit lists documentation and reporting as key differentiators. Who in the gaming industry brags about their documentation skills?
Not many. They brag about their Twitch followers. Dennis is bragging about his ability to protect administrators from lawsuits.
And that's why he says schools trust him. He speaks their language. He makes the dangerous feel safe.
It's a fascinating model, and I think we should end on his mission quote because it really is the anchor. My goal is simple. Turn passion into pathways and pathways into opportunity.
It's a clean, linear progression. Passion, then pathway, then opportunity. You can't just jump from passion to opportunity. You need that pathway. And that pathway is built of systems and structure.
And strict data compliance.
And strict data compliance. Can't forget the paperwork.
Never forget the paperwork.
So here's a thought to leave you with. We spent this whole deep dive on gaming, but the logic he's using, taking a distraction and treating it as raw material for a career, that could apply to anything.
It really could. It's a universal principle.
So if we stop looking at screen time as the enemy, what other distractions are we fighting right now that could actually be the next great pathway? What else are we telling kids to stop doing that maybe we should be teaching them to do better? Is it social media? AI?
That's the question. The next Mr. Long Island is probably figuring that out right now for TikTok or VR.
I hope so, because I'd love to stop yelling at